And so over the last 10 years, I went from failing miserably on my capital raise to now we just had an article in Market Watch and NBC that we raised $15 million for an ATM deal where it wasn't even a real estate deal, but we did this in a very automated manner so that all the dominoes that have to come down before someone sends us their $100,000, we had addressed each domino in an automated fashion.
First speaker, who's ready for Hunter? I'm the hype man here. I need to see some yeses. Hunter says I need to feel the energy. Hunter is, I mean, just a brother of mine. Like, I love this guy. The only thing I wouldn't do with Hunter is work out with Hunter, because he just is like insane. When he posts on Instagram all of these crazy workout videos, not doing that. But Hunter was one of the first guys that I learned from. And I said, no matter what your program costs, I'll do it. I keep giving this guy more money because I think he does it the right way. He's systematic in his approach. It's replicatable. What Hunter does, anybody can do if you follow the process. And so that's what I want. Hopefully you leave here today, a process, a strategy, a belief that you can do this. So without further ado, let me promote you to panelist, Hunter. I'm bringing you up, my man.
Let's go.
What's up, man?
Really excited to be here. Really proud of what you created, man. I just keep seeing you gain more and more momentum, and it's absolutely awesome. So you should be proud. You should be hungry. Now that you see what you can do, it's just more and more.
100%. Well, we got a squad here, man. We had close to 100 people register for this webinar, which makes me realize people really need this. And you clearly know that as well, right? It's why you spent so much time and resources and energy helping people teach this. And so, Hunter, let's get in. Let's quit wasting time. Let's get into this today. So I heard Tony Robbins say this the other day, that so many people are chasing after money, when in reality, it doesn't take much just to get money coming chasing after you. That's the big secret to wealth, is learning to quit chasing money and have money chasing you. And so that's what I want to, first question I want to ask you today. There's really two questions I have for you, Hunter, in our limited time is that mindset one of getting money to chase you? And then I want to talk about the fundamentals of a sales funnel, because that's what you teach so well inside of Raise Masters, inside of your communities of this process. So let's start with, what do we got to change about our approach to have money chasing us?
Well, first of all, I mean, you're hitting on the head. I mean, when I got in this business, the same as most people get in this business, when they think about raising capital, they have some misconceptions, right? They think about, I'm going to go out and convince someone to invest with me. Who's a rich person I know? Can I go out and try to find them and maybe get them to give me their hard-earned $50,000 or $100,000? But they view it like this. You're at the center of the circle and you're going around trying to find these people and then convert them into investors. And you may think, okay, well, if I just really get after it, I'm super tenacious and I don't take no for an answer, that I'm going to get some of these people to invest with me. And the issue with that, this is a really big challenge, because I'm a huge productivity junkie and a huge growth junkie. And what I really don't like is when the market sends you a confusing signal that'll send you down around the wrong path. That's the mother of all of that. So what I mean by that is that can work at the small level. That can work. Like, for example, everyone watching this webinar can probably think of someone in their lives, let's call it their mother, their uncle, something like that, to give them $25,000 to invest in their piece of real estate. And so he sends you a false signal. Oh, I just need to do more of that. Well, guess what? It took you a long time to build that relationship with your mother. It took me 34 years to do that. So I can't build a scalable, replicatable, repeatable, teachable business by saying, hey, just create a bunch of relationships as close and tight knit and trusted as your mom. And so because I had that realization, as many of you know, I failed miserably on my first capital raise, thinking that I could go out and kind of convince people to invest with me because I had a network of some wealthy individuals. I recognized that I needed to create a system that attracted thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of leads to me, and then educated them through replicatable, scalable, recordable, repurposable pieces of content, so that by the time they ever had the opportunity to invest with me, they were super eager to do so. And that's what a sales funnel is all about. I don't typically use that term, but it's exactly what it is. It's an inverted triangle. At the top, you have people who are ice cold leads. And at the bottom, you have people that are trying to give you $600,000. And so over the last 10 years, I went from failing miserably on my capital raise to now we just had an article in Market Watch and NBC that we raised $15 million for an ATM deal where it wasn't even a real estate deal, but we did this in a very automated manner so that all the dominoes that have to come down before someone sends us their $100,000, we had addressed each domino in an automated fashion.
So that's so good, Hunter. And we both have learned from similar mentors, and you've done so well to kind of master, perfect, and now you're teaching this. Can we dive into that funnel today? And I want to talk about the break points kind of maybe in each stage. And we have about another, we don't have a ton of time today, so we got to rapidly go through this. And I'll give you a chance where you can talk about your book and the things you're doing now for people can learn. But let's go through that because, guys, I know a lot of people here at different levels. There's a lot. That's why we're bringing 4 masters on today. We got 4 masters. We got Ryan Secco, who's raised $500 million to talk about social media strategy, all these things. I want Hunter to focus on this automated process so that you can see there is a system that you can replicate, and then we can learn from these other people about how to pour fuel on it. So Hunter, I love that you're first because you're going to set the foundation for us.
So how much time do I have for real? 10 minutes?
True. We have 12 to 15 minutes.
Starting now?
Yep.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure because I've done probably 20 hours of educational content on answering that question. So I want to make it as condensed as possible. Yep. So the big issue that I think a lot of people see in this space is that we think other people care what we say, and we think other people are listening to us. The reality is, including me, almost no one even knows about us on a proportional basis. So if we can solve the top of the funnel, the attract component, the rest of it can be kind of a no-brainer. But so what I want to do first, most importantly, is get as much attention as possible. So that means doing speaking engagements, right? That means doing hundreds of podcasts. That means going out on other people's podcasts. That's just everything I can do to get attention and eyeballs on me, people that are super dialed into the way I think and my worldview. And I'm not trying to be kind of liked by a lot of people. I want to be absolutely loved by just a few hundred people. A few hundred people can create more wealth in this industry than you can possibly imagine. If you had 1,000 investors, you'd be the most rich person you know, probably. I mean, I can only think of a couple people that I know that have 1,000 investors, and they're some of the wealthiest people and most influential people that I know of.
Wow.
So on a proportional basis, I don't really mind if people don't like the things I say. What I mind is if they don't know anything about me. All right. So once I get their attention, my goal is to convince them to give me their email address in exchange for some value. And that's where this relationship can really build in a scalable manner. So I'm doing a webinar in about a week, and I'll give you the link to that later. But my goal for like this speaking engagement, I want to get attention, I want to add some value, and I want to get that lovely, lovely email address to register for some webinar, right? So when I go on each speaking engagement, I have one specific goal, which is to give one resource away. And the only way to get it is to give me their email address, and I'll give it the exact URL to get it. So I don't want to go out on a speaking tour and just talk about like myself and not have a clear goal, right? And the reason I say that is that so many people, and I know Ellis, you did this, by the way, no problem. If you say, oh, I get it, you can go on podcasts and get attention. Yes, but if there's no way to actually get them in your network, get them in your sphere, then it doesn't really matter. So the first thing is exchange some value for an email address. What I like to do after that is very quickly give them kind of a welcome email about who we are as a company. And from there, okay, so now we've gone from ice cold to very interested to now they know a little bit about us. But that's assuming that they're opening our email. So what we've got to do is be super dialed in terms of getting them to actually do that. So one thing I really like to do after I've given them the downloadable resource instantly, I give them a quick welcome email, which explains our thesis. I want to follow up the next day and give them an even more robust version of what they originally opted in for. So I'll give you an example. A lot of people use ebooks as a way to get email addresses. So I'll do that. I'll do a self-storage ebook. You want to learn about self-storage? Go here, download the form. Great. They download it, they skim, and they probably don't read it, but they recognize that I know what I'm talking about. The next email is that welcome email. And then I say, watch out for tomorrow, because if you're interested in learning about self-storage, I just did a video interview with someone who owns $350 million of self-storage. That's going to take an hour if they want to actually dive in. But at that time, I probably have established the credibility, which will allow me to request that amount of their time. Because like I said, people think that they care what we say. We have to earn that. We have to earn that, because these are accredited investors that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Their time is super, super valuable. So I've given them the ebook. I've given them the welcome email. I've given them an additional resource. And only then can I really give them an opportunity to invest, right? And I may even give them a testimonial or a case study prior to even doing that. Testimonial case study, investor just like you had success, and here's all the things that they say about us that's so nice. Tomorrow, I'm going to send you an investment opportunity. Boom. The investment opportunity is live. Here are all the details. Tomorrow, I'm going to send you a resource about this investment opportunity, a frequently asked questions email, or a frequently asked questions video, just trying to, again, get in front of all those dominoes, predict what the problem is going to be that they come up in their mind, and then address it. So if you're doing a deal in the senior living industry, what's everyone thinking about that industry right now? COVID is a big risk into that industry. So as opposed to thinking, oh, that's a huge domino, I better not bring it up. What I'm going to do, I may put a podcast out called Did COVID End the Play in Senior Living? And so when they can see that, they go, wow, I was thinking that. But as I listened to the podcast, I recognized, I didn't force them to see this point. I didn't try to convince them. I recognized I too was contemplating that, and I uncovered that it's not. And they, by the way, are going to uncover it for themselves, which is so much more powerful than me trying to convince them, no, it's still good. It's still good. No, they can listen to me as I go through my thought process. And you know what expert marketers do? They put you in a position so that when their leads are listening to their information and reading their copy, they go like this. Ready for this? Alice, this is a $100,000 idea. Ready for this? Wow. This guy thinks just like me. He's smart just like me. If you can get them to go, that's so me, you're in. So I get them through that. I give them the opportunity. I address all their big concerns, and then I create some scarcity around the opportunity, and the money starts to roll in. Now that sounds like an infomercial. It sounds too good to be true. And to a large degree, I've been doing this for the last 10 years. So it's you have to be super dialed in. The way you do this is super nuanced. But here's what I didn't say, what most people do. Hey, here's my ebook. Email 2. Schedule a call with me because I've got all the time in the world. So just jump on a call with me. Email 3. Man, I recognize you didn't schedule a call with me. Email 4. Never going to hear from you again, am I? That's it. And they never send the money. And guess what? Here's what I want to say real quick before we jump off, because I know we're super rushed on time. It is your obligation. It is your moral obligation, your calling in life, to help people get money outside of the unpredictable stock market and into predictable cash flow, asymmetric opportunities that are going to put them in a position to protect and grow their wealth. And if you do all this work to educate them and they don't send you the $100,000, you cannot change your life and you cannot help them achieve their goals.
So that's so good, man. Couple things I want to highlight there. We talked about this before when you jumped on here. You have to become an evangelist for what you're doing. A couple of people are asking, what are the marketing strategies to top of the funnel? They're infinite, guys. This is the part of being an evangelist. They're infinite. You know, how do you fill up the top of the funnel? We're going to have Ryan Secco come on a little bit and talk about top of the funnel stuff. But I'm saying, so I love that. Hunter gave you the email sequence. Follow-up welcome intro after the downloadable ebook. Then a follow-up email that maybe something more robust even, right? Like
an additional resource. They're getting 2 for 1. So downloadable resource that they asked for, a welcome email explaining your thesis, a follow-up resource, which would probably require more of their time, but the time you've established the credibility, you've got a case study or a testimonial, an investment opportunity, and scarcity around the investment.
So by the way, guys, if you haven't write that sequence down, that's that's money, right? Like that is the replicatable process that you can go right now and create the same exact email sequence. Let me tell you the power of that. I call it the Kobe Bryant effect. When Kobe Bryant died, RIP to Kobe Bryant, seriously, bless his soul. The whole world mourned. Why? Because they had spent hours and days and weeks and years of their life watching or listening to Kobe Bryant. You know how you build trust with people? Time. It's the same way you build muscle, time under tension. Same way you build trust is time. Time for them listening to you, seeing you. So what Hunter's done before he asked for that call has probably spent, from what I'm calculating, if they watch it all, about 2 hours of their time already. That's very significant in building trust. And to be able to get on a call after someone spent 2 hours listening to your content is totally different than they just downloaded your ebook. Even if they do take the 15-minute call, you're so much farther after that 2 hours, right, Hunter?
Totally. And the content of that call, the content of what you're putting in front of them is also paramount. So I can't stress this enough. If you're unwilling to make bold claims that will make you stand out, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Wow.
So you must be able to plant your flag in the ground and say, this is what I stand for. And this is why, so that you can actually attract people that are thinking to you. And I mean, really attract them and make them go, this is my guy. I don't even know, does he even have any competitors? There's only one person I need to learn this from or invest with. And that way, you don't have to fight over things because you're the new opportunity. There is no commodity. There is only one person with no competitors. That is how you build a scalable business.
So talk to us about that. I think that's a $1 million idea right there. Making bold claims. What are some examples to that? Because what are some things that you've said or that you put your flag in the ground on?
Okay. Well, I was just in a debate with some people that I have a lot of respect for, and one of which is Ryan Smith, who I know that you've gotten to know quite well recently and over the years. Him and I were on a debate of whether or not we're on the same team, by the way. We believe that interest rates are going to go lower over the next 24 months. And I have found that that's a very unpopular idea. It's not common. So I will go, and I do believe that in all heart of hearts, I do believe that. And the way we justify it, go look at the chart of the last 100 years of interest rates, but also every industrialized country in the world besides the United States has negative interest rates. So I went on a debate. I made that claim. I did a follow-up debate for it. I did a Monday Minutes about it. I'm just going, I'm the guy for this. I'm the guy for this. And what that means is that at least someone will go, wow, that person is interesting, right? I'm in a position to at least talk about that person in some way. That's not like negative or going to make my business look bad, but at least I'm being talked about. So that's one example.
I love that. Hunter, let me ask you this and I love having you here, man. We could rap about this for hours. When your funnel, which I really appreciated the back end to this. And by the way, a funnel, I mean, you probably use ClickFunnels for the ebook and for people to download stuff like that. There's a lot of resources, guys. We can talk about that after. We actually have it on our YouTube channel as well. But at the end, you said after they give the case study, you will simply show them the offering. What about for those who maybe don't have something that's live and they don't have something to put in front of investors right now, and they're just trying to build up this process so that they're not chasing capital when the deal comes? Yes. Can you talk about that as well?
Yeah. So in 2020, we did basically one deal, and it was a non-real estate deal. So all we focused on was capacity. And all I wanted to do was, it's not about just adding value, because again, educating someone isn't going to help them unless you can actually get them to take action. So just working on capacity, right? Someone asked about the top of the funnel. So webinars, podcasts, premium content, ebooks, quizzes. These are just a couple examples of opt-in mechanisms, lead capture mechanisms. And so all we did in 2020 basically was focus on capacity. And then in the beginning of 2021, I think we've raised $15 million in the last 4 months or something like that. So it will pay off as long as you constantly hustle. And by the way, not having a deal is a great time to build up that capacity. Right.
So you're talking about in 2020, you were just top of the funnel. Were you worried so much about the middle of the funnel?
Well, we have a fairly robust infrastructure that's built up based on podcasts that we've done. We have an annual conference. We did a summit recently. So like we're constantly working on all of those things can be used. Lead capture mechanisms can also be used as middle of the funnel things, because I'm just throwing out hooks to get more nurtured, and whoever can nurture the relationship as quickly as possible will win. So I'm trying to, in a 15-minute interview, if I can just get people to do one thing, view the world of capital raising through this lens. These tactics are almost irrelevant, but view it through the lens of, if I can get someone who's ice cold into sending me $100,000 as quickly as possible, what would I have to do that? Try to figure out those answers. I've given you a couple of examples, but who cares? Just knowing that that's the goal is going to help you have that quantum leap. That's the framework, right? You'll probably forget the email templates. That's fine. But the framework, you're not going to forget.
I always say, guys, listen to this, building funnels, even editing your ebook, like in the sense of like graphic design, all that stuff, like that's a $10 an hour job. The $10,000 an hour job is creating the content in your mind.
Yes.
It's sitting down for an hour and saying, okay, what are the things I'm going to try this month? What ebooks am I going to write? What webinars am I going to record? Right? Like I had to sit down with my with Pete, who's on my team, for 2 hours and come up with the next 2 months of webinars. That was $10,000 an hour job. And then the only thing that Pete couldn't do was send the intro email to Hunter, say, hey, Hunter, because I know Hunter. That's a $10,000 hour task that I've spent a lot of time and money getting Hunter's attention that he'd come on this webinar. So the difference, I just want to help people to see of like, that's worth your time. That's a $10,000 an hour task to sit down and come up with ideas. So Hunter, I love that.
So important, dude. Okay. One little point on that. There are so many things that for people that are watching this right now should better be doing the menial tasks that don't bring value to anyone else, and especially not to them. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and this is not derogatory because I do it all the time. Just sitting and looking at the floor, because in those moments, you may come up with one of those things, those $10,000, $100,000, $1 million ideas. I mean, if you can there's a reason that people come up with great ideas in the shower. It's because you're kind of zoning in and zoning out. So literally just stopping and thinking, walking around without looking at your phone, take a walk, take your dog for a walk, and don't bring your phone. Don't put your headphones on. Just think about the nature of your business, and some of these ideas will come to you.
So good. Linda just asked real quick, what do you mean by capacity? I just want to make sure we're clear on that. You're talking about top of the funnel, bringing leads in is what you mean by capacity.
Yes, because if I can get in a room of, so if I was invited right now to the same presentation that I gave when I first started my business, which was I got 30 accredited investors in a room, but there's $30 million of net worth. Today, I won't even go to that meeting because that's not enough people and that's not enough net worth. It's not worth my time, and it's not worth yours either. What I'd much rather do is record a presentation that can be sent out to tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. So like when I say capacity, we get about 25,000 downloads of our podcast every single month, but that doesn't even represent the number of how bought in our listeners are, because the type of content it is, and anyone who listens to our show knows this is really dense, really impactful, life-changing content. At least that's where our goal is. So it doesn't matter the number. It's just that we have a couple of super bought in potential investors and coaching clients, et cetera.
Yeah, 25,000 downloads. Like you said, it takes 1,000 investors putting in 50 to 100K a year to literally change generationally.
Bro, that's next level. That's Ryan Smith level. If you have 200 investors, you've got a crazy business.
Amazing. Hunter, by the way, go ahead and show us what you've been talking about. What is the call to action? What is the top of the funnel? Where you invite people to? Guys, this is he's going to show you what he's been teaching. Hunter, where do people go?
Oh my gosh, you're making me nerd out, dude. I wish we had 3 hours. Okay. So we have a webinar that's on this topic of how to attract, educate, nurture, and close clients. And we're going to do it. Oh my gosh, it's literally tomorrow. So it's tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time, and it's raisingcapitalforrealestate.com.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat. Adam's posting it.
Got it, my boy. So / never scramble. And the key is we want to put you in a position so that you never scramble for capital at the last minute, or potentially worse, be not confident enough to go under contract due to lack of funding. It is the most important limiting factor in people's growth, and it is the single most determiner in who gets to grow their business and who doesn't, is who can make the $5 million appear when it's time to close.
Hunter, Jedi of Capital Raiser. Thank you so much, brother, for your time, man. Thanks for joining on. Thanks for all your mentorship over the years as well.
Happy to do it. Thanks a lot, Ellis.
All right,
Congratulations
brother.
on this, by the way.